United Chemical of Belgium, UCB, a $3 billion company, has basic business interests in pharma and chemical sectors. UCB Pharma is a $1.5 billion sector having products focusing on allergy and the central nervous system. In the allergy area, UCB Pharma has been continuously researching and discovering new antihistamines. In this audiovisual, we will have a brief look at the histamine receptor and its binding to Xyzal. The human body contains different chemical substances that act on the cell to produce their specific actions. The cells contain receptors through which a particular substance shows its action. The receptor is present on the cell membrane, which is usually across the surface of the cell membrane. They have an outer extracellular terminal that binds with the specific substance. They also have an inner terminal that causes specific reactions, second messenger, inside the cell once the specific substance has bound to the receptor on its outer terminal. Agonists are those substances, for example drugs, that bind on a particular receptor and mimic the action of the chemical substance meant for that receptor. Antagonists are those substances that bind to the receptor where the chemical substance of the body would have normally bound to and prevents its action. Histamine is one of the chemicals that is normally present in the body. It acts through specific histamine receptors. Normally, histamine is required for the secretions of acid in the stomach, and lately it has been found to act as a neurotransmitter. However, in certain events like allergic conditions, histamine is released from its store, like the basophils in the blood and the mast cells in the tissue. Histamine binds to specific receptors, called the H1 receptors. The H1 receptors are a group of receptors also referred to as G-protein coupled receptors. This receptor also has an outer or extracellular terminal and an inner or intracellular terminal. Between the extracellular and the intracellular terminal, the receptor crisscrosses the cell membrane 7 times and therefore are also referred as transmembrane receptors. Once the histamine binds to the H1 receptors, depending on the type of tissue where it is bound, histamine causes specific action. Therefore, histamine causes vasodilation, resulting in increased blood flow, redness, increase in secretions, and stimulation of nerve endings causing itching. Xyzal is an H1 antagonist that binds to H1 receptor in the same place where histamine would have bound, and therefore prevents histamine from binding to the H1 receptor.